I'm Laura McColley, and I'll walk you through how this forum will work. Every candidate answers the same 3 questions, 1 minute per answer. When a minute is up, we'll stop the candidate and move to the next. There is no warning sound, so they've been asked to watch their time. Candidates may read from prepared notes. The speaking order is different for each question and was randomized in advance, so no one is always first and no one is always last. A few candidates can't be here tonight and submitted written answers. We'll read those aloud in the same rotation as the live answers, so they're not grouped at the end. Given the high volume of candidates, we are only asking 3 questions and will not be asking follow-ups. During this portion, there are no follow-up questions, no cross-examination, and no questions from the audience. Every candidate gets the same 3 questions in the same time. When we've finished all 3 questions, Sam will give his closing remarks, and after that, the room is open until 8:30 for an open house. Every candidate who wants a table has one, and it's your chance to meet them, ask your own questions, and pick up their materials. With that, let's begin.
Out of respect for your fellow audience members and the candidates, please take a second and silence your cell phones. We'll begin with question 1. Question 1 is, what distinguishes you from other candidates? The first in order here is Brett Pollard, who is not present, so I'll be reading his response. Thank you. Is this better? Okay. So the first is the question 1, what distinguishes you from other candidates? And it's Brett Pollard. I'm reading in his absence. Brett says, first, thanks to Mr. Temple for putting this event together and allowing my responses to be part of this forum, even though I was unable to be there in person. Please give a hand to Sam Temple. Here is what doesn't distinguish us from each other. I am sure we all have a great love for the city of Faribault and its people. We all want what is best for the people and the future of Faribault. We each have our own stories and our journey which leads us to run for city council. Each of us brings our unique strengths and talents that we want to use to help our city continue to blossom to its full potential. My wife grew up in Faribault, and we moved to town in 2015 to be close to my wife's parents, Todd and Teresa Vold. We have 7 children, ages 4 to 18. 5 years ago, we bought a building in our wonderful historic downtown. It is a bit unique to live with such a large family in a small apartment. We wanted to give our children the gift of having diverse neighbors from many nations and connecting with our neighborhood businesses as part of their daily lives. We have a real connection with our downtown and love every part of it. I grew up in Perham, Minnesota, and also believe that I can bring a healthy outsider's perspective. There is wisdom in looking at what helped make other communities successful and mistakes to avoid. I do not aspire to move up some ladder of position, but only to serve the people of Faribault to the best of my ability. That was from Brett Paul.
Hi everyone, I am Katie Howard, and my life has been one committed to service. I graduated from Medford High School, joined the U.S. Army, and I've spent my entire career since that time committed to making government better for the people it serves. Today, I'm a senior project manager with Hennepin County, where I lead large, complex, and often politically sensitive projects. My work requires navigating competing priorities, finding common ground, and delivering actual results. I am at a point in my career where I feel like I can take all of that real-world experience that I've gained and utilize those skills to give back to our community. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I do know how to listen, ask the tough questions, solve problems, make thoughtful decisions. And that's the perspective that I think I would bring to City Council. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Halverson. For the past 27 years, I've worked to make a positive difference in Faribault. I've worked on many initiatives to improve daily life, such as the Faribault Diaper Bank, which serves over 100 families each month, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, supporting childhood literacy, leading the creation of the Johnston Hall Memorial, and embedding opioid support in our emergency department. These are just a few examples of the collaborative work I've been a part of. I will view decisions from a community health lens because choices about housing, infrastructure, public safety, and economic development impact our well-being. I've built trusted partnerships across nearly every organization in town, and I know how to bring people and resources together to get things done. I'm ready to do even more for Faribault on City Council. Thank you.
I'm John Rowan. What distinguishes me? Experience, collaboration. I've been with the Faribault City Council for 7 years and 6 months. I was elected once, appointed twice. I believe in the rule of law, and I understand the role of state government and the courts and how they affect the decisions we make. It's easy to sit up here and say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, but the courts and the rule of law determine how we go through these processes. Every decision I make has to meet 3 criteria. It either has to be in the public's best interest, convenience, or it has to be a necessity. That's why I ask for your support.
Okay, I'll be reading for Jacob Reed. Jacob says, simply, I am not looking to be friends with anyone who's currently in office, but to assure the voice of the people I speak with every day, I go to the store, park, or community events is continued through to be the impact on our city. I am not a sit and see person. I don't want to wait for the next big issue to pop up. My timer's going off real. I do not want to wait for the next big issue to pop up, but I want to prepare our city for what's to come. I do not believe we are here at a time where building our tax base and increasing tax revenue is a good idea for citizens of this community. For too long, every level of government has worked to increase who they can tax and for how much, but not actually asking if the continued growth is what the residents want or if it's the right decision of the direction of growth for the people living here. Oh, I'll be reading for Cameron as well. Cameron says, I believe I bring a unique combination of lifelong community roots, professional leadership experience, and forward-looking perspective. I've spent my entire life in Faribault, growing up here, attending our schools, raising my family here, and now serving on the Park and Recreation Advisory Board. Professionally, I've built a career centered on accountability, collaboration, and solving complex problems. I am not running to make politics my career. I'm running because I want to give back to the community that has shaped every chapter of my life. I want to help ensure Faribault remains a place where families can thrive, businesses can grow, and future generations are proud to call home.
I'm Paul Wunderlich, and I think it's pretty obvious. I have the best beard of anybody who's running for office here. But no, as far as what distinguishes me, I've thought a lot about this, and I can't really give a great answer here, folks, because I don't know really any of these people very well, except for Councilman Rowan. I've known him 20 years, long time. I am running because our city is at a crossroads. We have some important issues in front of us, the biggest one right now being the data center. And we have to take a proactive approach, and I believe I've got some good ideas on how we approach that. I'm also very passionate about how our city is spending all of our tax dollars. We've got to be so careful with that, and Viaduct Park, I think, is all the guy needs to say, and yeah, I'll have some more thoughts on that here in a bit. I am running for my boys.
I have to cut you off in a minute.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping me honest.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for showing up. My name is Jack Cluck. I'm the one that held all this stuff up. Things went into my junk folder, but nonetheless, I found it. I, like Paul here, I don't know any of these people. I just know that they're neighbors. They can be friends. But everybody's got a story. Until I know that story, I'm just really not going to comment too much on them. But I'll tell you what differentiates me, I feel, is I'm relatively new to this community. I'm pushing 4 years. My wife and I decided to make this our forever place. And we frequent a lot of the institutions around town and whatnot. We've befriended many people. We've networked very well. And I just want to get involved. I really want to get involved. Tom Spooner pushed it out there one time, really get involved. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. One thing I will let you all know is I'm not a politician. I'm not going to talk in circles for you. I'm not going to promise you something that I can't deliver on. And I'm not going to go ahead and promise you the world when there's definitely not the world that I could bring to you. I'm easygoing and I come with a pretty good attitude.
I am Lexi Temple, and I think I am uniquely poised to represent the city of Faribault due to my fresh perspective and my disposition towards learning new things. Like many Gen Z and millennials, I'm living paycheck to paycheck despite doing all the right things, such as getting a degree or two, giving 100% effort at work, and not making any extravagant purchases. I see myself and my peers struggling financially, and because I am living in the reality of financial strain, I think I can offer a beneficial, accurate, fresh perspective to represent the everyday people of Faribault. Additionally, I am eager to continue learning new things, which would serve me well as a city councilor. I'm not afraid to ask difficult questions and critically analyze things from varying points of view. I think this combination of having a fresh perspective and proclivity for learning new things distinguishes me as a unique candidate for Faribault City Council.
Hi everyone, thank you. My name is Toma Estrada. I understand the challenges family, small business, and working people face because I've experienced them myself. I'm not running for a title, I'm running to listen, to work hard and make sure every resident's voice is heard in the City Council. I believe in transparency, accountability, and finding practical solutions that improve public safety, support businesses, local businesses, strengthen our neighborhoods, use taxpayers' dollars responsibly. My commitment is to serve everyone with honesty, respect, and dedication, and to always put the needs of the Faribault first. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, our second question is, what is one concrete policy that you would champion? And we'll start with Paul.
Thank you. So I'm going to mention two things really quick. So one, on the data center, I'm working with Katie and Jake on kind of a comprehensive package of what we would propose. I don't have specifics on that yet tonight, but my pledge to you is those will be made public before the primary, because you all deserve to know where we stand on the data center. The other thing that I am working on is just capital transparency for the city. So before we start a project, we need to know how much the whole thing is going to cost. We can't have projects that start and then halfway through the price tag goes up. We need to know from the beginning, and that would be an ordinance. If the city council is going to vote to take on a bunch of debt, like we did for the Viaduct Park project, then we need a supermajority, 5 out of 7. And then any cost overruns would be covered by the contractor. That should not come out of our paychecks. We need to know the cost up front, and if there are overages, that shouldn't come out of our paycheck. That should come from the contractor. Thank you.
The most urgent policy that I would champion would be the developing policy about data centers. I think we need to enforce strict review about the health and environmental impacts that would affect our community, and in order to ensure full transparency. These evolving policies demand urgency because of the rate at which data centers are being built despite the opposition that citizens are expressing. Policies that make thorough review mandatory would allow us at minimum to slow down the process and at best prevent data centers from being built in the first place. This is one policy that I would champion because it's not only something I personally care about, but it's something that I found the majority of our community cares about. Championing this policy is essential to truly be a representative for the people of Faribault.
Okay, I'll be reading the answer for Cameron Gustafson. So one concrete policy. An umbrella initiative called the Future Faribault Initiative, built around 4 commitments: protect our neighborhoods, invest in housing maintenance and infrastructure, that's 1. 2, build trust in government, improve communication, transparency, and engagement. 3, support local opportunity, make it easier for businesses to grow and invest by ensuring plans, ordinances, and services are in the best interest of the community and that they do not needlessly discourage or hinder success. And 4, plan for future generations, make decisions with long-term sustainability in mind, support projects that preserve Faribault's integrity while aligning with our historical character and natural amenities. Remain open to new ideas, ways of thinking, and opportunities to strengthen our economy and enhance our quality of life. The most transformative initiatives create a virtuous cycle. Better housing attracts residents, more residents support local businesses. Thriving businesses expand tax base, and increased revenue funds better amenities, which in turn attract more residents and employers.
Again, Jack Cluck. I think at the forefront of most of our minds is the data center, and that is one thing that I'm definitely, I'm on the fence with. Until I know everything about it, the pros and the cons, I can't really make a decision on it, but I know there's no better way than to be part of the city council who will make the decisions about that, to be on it. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and look at the social media jargon and whatnot, and the piping in of people that are very, very concerned and whatnot. I understand Erin Brockovich has gotten involved on a national level. She's a movie star. At the end of the day, I just need to know more about it, but I would definitely put that at my forefront. Second best initiative for me would be the revitalization of the downtown sector. It's very historical, it's very classic. I'd love to see it keep that culture. But I'd also like to see improvements to the buildings and to the infrastructure and stuff that brings people, that draws a lot of people into the area. And that's where I'm at.
I would support economic development by helping Faribault attract in local businesses while supporting the businesses that are already here. I want to encourage job creation, make it easier for entrepreneurs to open and expand businesses, and work with local school and employers to strengthen workforce opportunities. A strong local economic means more jobs, a broader tax base, a better city service without placing greater burden on our taxpayers. My goal is to make Faribault a place where businesses succeed, families thrive, and young people choose to build their future in Faribault. Thank you.
If elected, I would champion stronger accountability and transparency for large development projects. The proposed data center has shown us that when a project is larger and more complex than anything that we have ever seen, we need to slow down and take a closer look. We shouldn't be making decisions based on assumptions, promises, or best case scenarios. Developers should provide complete information, pay their fair share, and not rely on taxpayers to subsidize their private development. We also need to understand the impacts on our infrastructure, our natural resources, and our quality of life before making any decision that's going to impact generations to come. Not all growth is good growth. It should benefit the people who already live here, reflect our community values, and leave Faribault in an even stronger position than when we started. Like Paul mentioned, there's 3 of us who are working on creating a very detailed plan to regarding the data centers that we will be proposing here to the public shortly. Thank you.
What I'd like to champion is more public engagement in matters related to property taxes and how funds are spent. It is my opinion that any large capital expenditure should be placed on the ballot because that's costing you, the taxpayer, every time we make a decision. Thank you.
I would champion a policy of using a clear and transparent decision-making framework when making major budget decisions and improving financial incentives like TIFs and tax abatements. This tool would ask important questions up front, like, does the project align with our adopted plans? Is it meeting an identified need of the community? What's the projected return on investment? How does it impact our environment and community health? And is it economically feasible? Implementing a decision-making framework with established criteria and scoring builds on best practices used by well-managed Minnesota cities, and it would make financial decisions more consistent and understandable. With my experience in this area, I'm ready to bring greater transparency and stewardship to Faribault City Council. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to be reading Brett Pollard's answer. I think it goes without saying that not one person I've talked to wants a data center in Faribault or even other high-impact utility consumers. I know that data centers will be built somewhere, but it doesn't have to be here. So listening to the citizens of Faribault and making the best decisions for the health and safety of all is the responsibility of the council. I would do my best to listen, act, and communicate openly, especially regarding financial transparency and proper stewardship to make Faribault stronger going forward. And then I'm also going to read Jacob Reed's answer to the question. Starting with data centers, but not ending there, ordinances and policies around new and emerging technologies businesses entering our city without existing definition would be required to have public review. If there is clear and evident concern of new forms, business entering the community, ordinances and city policy must outline environmental and economic impacts to the community through a standardized review that, based on key factors, could trigger a ballot vote measure to give the community their voice back without the need to file petitions and hope the current council is making the right decision. This is not a step to limit growth, but to assure the growth happens in the direction the community wants without concern for outside influence or knowledge gaps. And that is question 2.
We're going to finish up with question 3. What is one thing about Faribault you hope doesn't change? And I'm going to start with reading Cameron Gustafson's written answer. She writes, I hope that Faribault continues to be a place where people know their neighbors, support one another, and genuinely care about the community. Growing up here, I experienced a community where people volunteer, coach youth sports, show up for local events, and help each other through difficult times. Your teachers remember your name, your kids can have many of the same experiences you did, and people take pride in calling Faribault home. I know our city will continue to grow and change, and I welcome thoughtful growth, but I never want to lose the small town spirit where relationships matter and people feel connected.
What is one thing about Faribault you hope that doesn't change? Our history. Faribault was once called the Athens of the West because of our educational opportunities. We have a historical downtown. We have a community where neighbors still help each other. Faribault was one of the first cities in the state of Minnesota to have a public nature center. We have an exceptional trail system. And these are all things that we should be proud of as a community. And I'd like to see that continue. Thank you.
Faribault is the place where neighbors look out for one another. People volunteer, support our local businesses, and come together during celebrations and difficult times. That spirit of connection is what makes this city special. As Faribault continues to grow, I want to make sure that we preserve that welcoming, small town, feeling well embraced with new opportunities. Growth is important, but it should never come at the expense of the relationships, value, community pride that makes Faribault such a great place to live here. Once again, everyone, thank you for coming.
Faribault has a really special charm to it, and I can't really explain it. But I've lived in the South Metro after college and hated it. It was too big, too noisy. Lived in Elko after that, and that was a whole different set of problems. Small town, no amenities. They have a quick trip now. That was a big deal when I lived there. I grew up on a farm outside of Faribault, so Faribault has always been home. But living here in town, this is the first time that I've lived in city limits where I felt at home, where I have felt that, yeah, I can be here for a really long time, and I want my kids to be here for a really long time. It's a wonderful community with great people and a very rich history, and I hope we never lose that. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to read Brett Pollard's written question or answer to the question. What is one thing about Faribault you hope doesn't change? Our diversity. We are stronger and better because of our diversity if we remain united. The strength of Faribault is its people. To quote my wife in a blog she wrote about it, what it means to become a part of a community. A town isn't great because of all of its stuff. What makes a town truly great is its people. I have an exceptionally great town. And so I hope we remember our incredible history while looking forward with vision to our future. I'm also going to read Jacob Reed's written answer. He writes, our environment. Faribault's community, like many in Minnesota, is a place of nature, recreation, and the ability to access the outdoors is inherent to its character. Our nature center, parks, local pollinator gardens, and even our historic downtown are a testament to the ability of Faribault being able to merge our industrial sector and grow while at the same time providing opportunities to every community member, areas of outdoor life, and enjoying something that for many is a reason they got away from the metropolitan cities in the first place. Sometimes quiet is good, and for myself, that quiet is the reason I've come to love this city after being raised here and returned after a short venture to the suburbs of the Twin Cities.
I hope that Faribault maintains this small, big town feeling. I deeply appreciate feeling like there's a good chance that when I go out, I'll run into someone I know, while still feeling like there are ample opportunities to get to know new people, find a new hobby, or eat at a new restaurant. The small town connections foster a sense of comfort and pride for Faribault that I have felt since I was a child. The big town opportunities help me envision a long-term future as a Faribault resident without having to compromise on experiencing new things. This dichotomy is part of what makes Faribault an incredible place to set down roots and have the tools to expand and grow professionally and personally. I hope that this balance doesn't change because this unique quality is one aspect that makes Faribault home.
Absolutely, the sense of community. When my husband and I decided to raise our family here, it wasn't because Faribault had the biggest stores, the newest attractions, or the most amenities. We chose it because of the people and the values. People still know their neighbors here. They volunteer, they support the local events, help each other out, and genuinely care about this community. I want Faribault to grow and be successful, but I hope we never lose that small town feel where people look out for one another and take pride in where they come from. That, to me, is what truly makes us special. Thank you.
Faribault has many strengths. One thing I hope never changes is the central role of our library, community center, and senior center. These are the true heart and hub of our community. This campus brings people of all ages and backgrounds together for learning, wellness, programming, and connection. It's walkable, centrally located, and serves as a vital anchor to our historic downtown business district. My family and I are proud members of the community center and use it almost daily, so I see how important it is. Children's swimming lessons fill up within minutes, and demand for gym space continues to grow. The sense of connection, accessibility, and community pride that comes from our library, community center, and Buckham West is something I truly hope we protect. Thank you.
In the short time I've been here, I really hope that Faribault does not lose its history, its culture, and its American heritage. There's so much to be seen. If you haven't gone to any of the museums in town or done any of the tours or whatnot, you're missing out a lot. There's a lot of information in there, and this is a city to be proud of. And I don't want to lose that pride. And more so, our outdoor spirit. We do everything outdoors in Faribault, and we're given the opportunity to do everything outdoors in Faribault. So keeping our community spirit together and our culture, and let's hang on to that history that's been created for us, and let's bring it forward to the people after us. Don't be chicken, vote for Clark.
Friends and neighbors, I will be brief, and I promise I timed myself before this. But I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and especially to thank the 10 candidates who put their names on the ballot. That's not an easy thing to do, and it shows a real love for Faribault that they stepped up to serve. As you heard earlier, I will not be endorsing any candidates in this primary. My goal is to get as many people out to vote as possible, regardless of who they vote for, which is why I've organized this forum. And I invite you all to look around this room. For many of you, this gymnasium is where you will cast your vote on August 11th and on November 3rd. Local elections are decided by small numbers. I know better than anyone how few votes can decide elections and how local these votes are. 4 years ago, I lost a county commissioner race in this district by 134 votes. It wasn't voters in Nevada or Florida or New York, it was my neighbors on Legacy Drive and Erbling Avenue and at Pleasant View Estates that decided that race. So, do the math. How can you move that 134 vote margin with your one vote? If you convince 5 people to vote who may not otherwise cast a ballot in a midterm election, whether it's your spouse or your neighbor, members of your congregation, folks who walk their dog past your house every night, suddenly the people just in this room have moved more votes than decided that commissioner race. Not that I've given it a lot of thought. Now, I say all of this because your power is not in your single vote alone. Your power is the 5 or 10 people who trust you when you tell them that something is important. So you have your power. How will that power be used? The stakes of an election is not who wins or loses. The stakes are how power will or will not be used to improve your lives. So let's talk about life in Faribault. Nearly 3 out of 4 children in Faribault's public school system come from families that qualify for free or reduced price meals. That's 3/4 of public school kids living off of low incomes. These kids grow up and they go to work. They need a place to live. The first thing they'll probably look for is a rental. Our overall market rate rental vacancy is 2.5%. The affordable vacancy rate is 0.6%, and subsidized units have no vacancies at all. So maybe they'll have better luck trying to buy a home, get a mortgage. Most people would agree that is a sound financial decision when the math works in your favor. For the average worker in Faribault, the math is not in their favor, even if they do qualify for a loan. To buy the median house in the city, you would need to earn $97,000 a year. The average worker in Faribault earns around $59,000. That is a gap of nearly $40,000. That's not a raise they'll be getting anytime soon. According to the United Way, 53% of Faribault households, the majority of us, cannot cover the basics of housing, food, transportation, and health care without relying on expensive debt. If we're lucky, we all grow old and eventually retire. Many of the older neighbors in this room own their homes, and some of those homes are older than they are. Those homes are not suited for those with limited mobility. And moving is not a simple thing, because Faribault already has a deficit of more than 1,200 senior housing units. Even when senior-specific units are available, assisted living in Minnesota costs somewhere around $60,000 a year, with more intensive care, nursing care, running around $150,000 a year. I remind you that the average worker in Faribault earns about $59,000 in a single year. They do not have assisted living or nursing home money in savings. So that is one life, from the school lunch line to the nursing home bill. That is a single life in Faribault. When you choose 3 of these 10 candidates, you are choosing who is working to improve life in Faribault. The primary is Tuesday, August 11th. For many of you, you'll be casting your ballot right here in this room. I encourage you to realize your power and use it. Candidates, the room is yours until 8:30. Voters, have at 'em. Good night.